Hey guys, what's up? It's Savannah. Welcome back to another episode of My Thoughts Exactly. Thank you guys so much for joining me here today. If you're new here, hi, my name is Savannah. I am your host of My Thoughts Exactly. And before we get started, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That way you never miss an episode. We post weekly here on the podcast every single Friday. You're not going to want to miss it. We also post the video version onto YouTube on Fridays as well. So make sure you are subscribed. And with that being said, you guys, happy Friday. I hope you've had a great week. And if you haven't, guess what? It's Friday. It's the weekend. You made it. Happy Friday, you guys. I have had a crazy week thus far. A lot has happened since you and I last sat in this chair and in this room. And the main difference is what is sitting in my lap. Now, if you're watching me on YouTube, you cannot see it. And if you're listening, obviously, you probably can't see it as well. But I have my foster dog in my lap right now, and she is sleeping. So I'm not going to wake her up. But if you've been following me on Instagram, then you already know. It was actually when we were filming or when I was recording the last My Thoughts Exactly episode, I got an email from the foster team asking if I was going to come pick up or if I wanted to come pick up the puppies because yes, there were two of them at one point. So basically the backstory to this is while we were on our way home from Barbuda after we got engaged, the little backstory to even that is I applied to be a foster dog parent back in September. I just felt at the time that I needed, some sort of other fulfillment in my life. I wasn't completely fulfilled. I had work, I had my social life, but I wanted more. And so I applied to be a foster parent. And when I did that, weekly they send out like foster updates about which dogs need foster homes. And on the way back from Barbuda, literally while we were on the plane, there was an email that was sent out, and one of the one of the dogs that needed fostering in this email was a litter of puppies called the reindeer litter. Now, we know that I love Christmas. We know this. I love Christmas. Anything Christmas related, like twist my arm, I will gladly be on board. So when I saw that there was a group of puppies called the reindeer litter, I was so in. And I actually, I was like emailing back and forth with the foster team, but I didn't know if it was actually going to happen. Like if we were actually going to get these dogs. Cause like we talked about it a little bit, me and the foster team, and then we just like stopped exchanging emails. So I was like, maybe we just like won't get the dogs. And then on Tuesday, literally while I was recording My Thoughts Exactly, they texted me and they were like, hey, like what time are you going to come get these dogs? And I was like, oh, okay. So that same night, I went and picked up two puppies. They're bloodhound mixes. One was named Cupid. Cupid actually got adopted, and we still have Dancer. Dancer is a girl. They were both girls, which was really funny because when they sent the puppies home with me, they told me that Dancer, who I currently have, was a boy named Blitzen. Turns out she's a girl named Dancer, and we love her. She's so sweet, and we are actively trying to find her a forever home. But you guys, this dog has become Velcro to me. It is becoming a problem. She is so attached to me and I love it. Like I don't think anything has ever loved me this much, not even church. But we gotta find this dog a forever home. But she's so sweet. So she's currently sleeping in my lap. So she is our little guest star today. Even though you can't see her, she is here in spirit. Anyways, I am so excited for today's episode. And before we get started, which as you can tell, we're doing an engagement Q&A today. Very, very excited. But I really wanted to take a second and just thank you guys so, so much for all of your love that you left on the last episode and just on the Instagram that I posted a couple like last week. I truly have, it's just, I get reminded every time that like something monumental happens or like something significant where we all kind of just come together and we really just, bond more as a community and like as a family here. And it just makes me so grateful for you guys. The love and support that you showed me was unlike anything that I could have ever imagined. And so many of you were saying things like, you've been watching me since you were in high school. You've been watching me since you were in middle school. You've watched my journey for so long, and to see me now engaged is crazy because trust me, it's crazy to me too. But it was just so amazing to see you guys just comment how long you've been here or just like showing your support and your congratulations. And it truly means the world to me. I don't think, and I can say this actually, I know for a fact, I would not be where I am today just as a person without you guys. Like, put aside, like, the podcasts and social media and everything, but like, if I didn't have the support system that is you guys, I would not be the person that I am. And that never, ever goes unrecognized with me. I love you guys so much. And I am just so appreciative of you being here every step of the way for the journey leading up to this and the journey that's going to follow. So I just wanted to say that because there's no way I couldn't recognize and just vocalize that to you guys. So I love you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for staying here. And let's jump in to a fun little engagement Q&A. Why don't we? I asked you guys on the My Thoughts Exactly Instagram if you had any just engagement questions or questions about, like, the future, just any questions that you had for me pertaining to the engagement in itself. So that is what we are going to run through today. Okay, sorry. If you're watching me on YouTube, you might be like, the lighting just totally changed. And you're right, it did. It is several hours later. I had to stop because Instagram decided to shut down. So there was no way for me to access your questions. But alas, it is back up. So we are going to get into your questions right now. So with that being said, let's jump right on into it, shall we? This is so fun for me. I love this. Okay, here we go. Number one, will church be the best man? Okay, this is so funny because Hayden and I have actually talked about this in the fact that, we talk about like how people incorporate their dogs, which, just like disclaimer, I used to think that people incorporating their dogs in weddings was like, why would you do that? That just seems a little strange. But now I have a dog and now I get the hype. So I don't know if we're going to do like church being the best man, but what I do think would be like a tasteful way to incorporate church, because I don't even think we're going to have kids at our wedding, you guys, like, let alone my dog. But I do think a fun way to incorporate church being at the wedding would be to like name a drink after him, like to dedicate a drink after church. So that is what we are kind of envisioning. I just can't fathom or like really imagine church being like walking down the aisle or like being a ring bearer in any way. I just don't even think he would like that. Like, church is so relaxed and so low key. I don't think that he would enjoy like having to have any sort of obligation to do or perform in any way. I do think maybe I do like want to incorporate him in some way though, like in pictures or something. So definitely we'll circle back around on this idea, but I just don't think that having him like actually walk down the aisle will be the way to do it. But he will be the honorary best man for sure. And he will be incorporated in the wedding in some way, shape, or form. We will figure out something. Okay, next one. Do you have an idea of a wedding timeline, a dream wedding, a location, a day? What are you thinking? Okay, so this was definitely a consistent and common question, which is basically like, when are you getting married? I don't know. I don't know when I'm getting married. I don't know the timeline. But as far as, do I have like a dream wedding or dream wedding location or a dream wedding day? I honestly don't. I think I might have talked about this in the last episode. I always grew up never really picturing myself getting married. I always, like, the idea of getting married was always something that I wasn't so sure about. And I remember even having conversations with friends being like, I'm not getting married. Like, I don't want to get married and I don't want to have kids. I was on repeat with that. And then once I met Hayden, I was like, okay, I could get behind getting married. I could get behind being a wife. And then I remember when Hayden, just like over the years, my thoughts of a wedding have changed. I've really evolved from like not wanting to get married at all to now being open to not just marriage, but like the idea of an actual wedding. Because for a long time, I was like, let's just elope and call it a day and like go off and have a killer honeymoon. I'm still not completely like against that idea, but I definitely want to have like some sort of celebration with friends and family. So we are, exploring all options and all avenues, but I really am like starting from scratch. I have no idea. But as far as like a day or like timeline, I don't know, because to be honest, like Hayden and I would rather not wait the longest. Well, if we're being completely honest, Hayden is definitely the one that doesn't want to like wait super long to have like a prolonged engagement. But because we got married, or not married, because we got engaged at the end of this year, like venues and stuff, you guys, wedding planning is so freaking stressful. I've only like dipped my toe into it and I'm stressed. I am overwhelmed. So let's say we wanted to get married like this time next year. That's going to be very, very difficult to find an actual venue that would accommodate that because mostly everything is already booked up. So realistically, we would be looking at like spring 2026 if we wanted to have like a traditional wedding at like a traditional venue. I do have a couple other options up my sleeve and just ideas up my sleeve that kind of give us a little bit of a caveat to not have to do that and not have to wait until spring 2026. But I am going to kind of keep those to myself right now and try and like figure everything out logistically. And then I will get back to you on that. But ideally, I would like to get married in like the fall or winter. I just feel like that's just more my scene and more my vibe. I've always been more of a fall and winter girl, but it is like ironic because I just think that everything happens so like in sync with each other. And what I mean by that is like all of my friends right now are engaged. Like my best friends are all engaged and we're all planning weddings, which is very, very fun. But it also means that we're all trying to like work around each other. And luckily it's not like I have one big group of friends. It's more so like I have multiple friends who are not in the same friend group that are getting engaged. So it's like I'm trying to work around like this person and that person and this person. And I'm like trying to make sure that like everyone is, situated in a way that makes sense. Um, but yeah, it's definitely difficult to plan a wedding and, when all of your friends are trying to get married at the same time and you are as well, it adds in another factor to it. But it is kind of fun. And it's just like the season of life that we're all in. We're all engaged, we're all going to get married. It is very exciting. Okay, next question. Did I have any idea that Hayden was proposing? No. Let me explain. Let me backtrack. Sorry, lots of backtracking here. I hoped that he would propose on this trip because I was like, first of all of we're checking all of the boxes here. Not only have we picked out a ring, that's done. Number two, Hayden knows that I wanted to get engaged where my family was. Like I wanted to be around my family during that time. Not that I needed them like watching it, but I wanted to celebrate with them. That was going to happen. Check. Third, we were on a freaking island in Barbuda, like a private beach island. Check. Like why would he not? So, of course, I hoped that, but I think I explained a little bit in the last episode that I kind of told Hayden, like, what are you, like, is this kind of happening? I alluded to it after I got the DM from the casting agent from the ultimatum. I was like, so, like, is this happening? I was like, kind of hinting at it. And he told me, absolutely not. No, not happening. Sorry. Summer 2025 is when I'm thinking of doing it. And it left me feeling like, it was definitely like a little bit of a gut punch, I'm not gonna lie, but I was definitely like a little disappointed with it all, but I was like, "Okay, I'm not gonna get my hopes up. It's not happening this trip." And I convinced myself fully that it was not happening that trip. Like I was so convinced that it was not happening because we had talked about it and everyone was in my ear saying, "Okay, yeah, but like he's probably gonna do it, but he's lying to you. He wouldn't tell you if he was gonna do it." But I've actually like talked to Hayden about this since then, and he has told me that when we had that conversation, like he actually wasn't going to do it on that trip. It was more so me being like, why haven't we done this yet? He had the ring. He just was going to wait for a different time, but he realized in that moment when we were having that conversation that there is no time like the present. And he threw it all together fairly quickly. So that was all, that's how it all happened. And I had no idea, literally no idea. I'm pretty sure the first words that came out of my mouth when Hayden was on a knee was, "What the fuck?" I just kept repeating it. I was like, "What the fuck? What the fuck?" Because like, what do you mean? I was just like, "Are you kidding? What do you mean? What the fuck? Like, are you joking? Are you serious? Where's my family?" I just kept repeating it over and over and over again because I was in such shock. I had convinced myself so heavily that this was not happening. And I just was so surprised when I turned around and he was just like down on a knee. And I think you can like sense that from the pictures. Like that was not a fake reaction at all. That was like, oh my God, because I was so convinced he wasn't doing it. I was so convinced and I was proven wrong. So, no, I had no idea that he was proposing whatsoever. Will we do a destination wedding? We've definitely talked about it. We've talked about, we're in Tennessee right now. We've talked about a Tennessee wedding. We've talked about different weddings, or places that we can get married. We've talked about Big Sky, Montana. We've talked about somewhere in California. We've talked about somewhere on the East Coast. We've talked about Jackson Hole. We've thrown around a lot of different ideas, but at the end of the day, we do want to like keep things smaller. And we also, we also want to get married in a place that holds significance to us and somewhere that just makes sense for us. So that is why Tennessee kind of is a front runner right now, but a destination is not out of the picture. This is also a big thing, you guys. Like, Hayden and I have not had a chance to like really deep dive into wedding planning because I decided it was a brilliant time to foster a dog. Literally, like when we got home, Hayden was like, why would, like, we have a wedding to plan, like we have so much, why would we foster a dog? But he was like, if it's gonna make you happy, let's do it. And so lo and behold, now we have a dog to foster. But like, we have had no time to actually like outline anything or really get detailed. We've done a little bit of like reaching out to venues and we have some tours lined up, but as far as like concrete plans, none, nada, because we haven't had the time because we have this, we have a puppy. Okay. We all dream of what our wedding day was is like. So what style dress do you like? Okay, what dress do I want? I don't know. I think once we figure out a venue and a vibe, I will be able to kind of narrow in on a dress. I will say though, I do have a little bit of an idea because I feel like, I don't know, I made a Pinterest board. I did, of dresses, but again, I think it's going to come down to like what venue we choose and what vibe we choose and what time of year we choose. But I have a little bit of an idea. I don't know. I was looking on Pinterest and I saw these like off-white dresses, which I never thought I would be an off-white girl, but almost like a champagne silk dress that I thought was so cool. Don't quote me on it, but I really liked that. I love anything off the shoulder. I'm not like a cupcake Cinderella dress person. No shade if you are. It's just not my vibe. I really don't know what I'm gonna like, so I'm excited to go try on wedding dresses for sure and just kind of like see what's out there and see what I like. But I do think I need to look at like what venue we're gonna do and what time of year we're getting married, and then I will be able to like narrow down a little bit more on like dresses and dress styles. But like, I cannot wait because I grew up watching Say Yes to the Dress. Like, I loved Say Yes to the Dress. So definitely am excited for this avenue and this next venture. Okay, next question. Did your friends know it was going to happen before it did? Two of my best friends knew. My best friend from back in San Diego, Kristen, and another one of my best friends from Nashville, Kristen. They're both named Kristen, and he told both of them, which was really, really sweet. I honestly didn't know if he was going to tell anyone whenever it was going to happen. I remember telling both Kristens because both of them were like, "Do you think that he like wouldn't tell me?" And I was like, I don't know. Like, I can't picture him reaching out and being like, this is happening. But I learned after the fact that he did tell both Kristens that this was happening. And I thought it was so cute. I actually saw like the text thread that he wrote to my best friend Kristen from Nashville, and just seeing how sweet he was in his text, it was like literally like heart melting. Is that a word? Yeah. It was so sweet. He just kept saying how excited he was to propose and how much he loved me and just like how he was hoping that everything went very smoothly. And it was just such a sweet thing to see because it's always nice like when you see someone having like a positive like conversation about you. Like whenever you hear any compliments that are not being said to your face, but like in a different conversation and in a different setting, it's always really, really sweet. And just seeing how excited he was about it just really warmed my heart so much. So it was very sweet. So yes, two Christians did know, and my family did as well. Do I feel any different being a fiance versus a girlfriend? Okay, honestly, there are moments where it does hit me, but in the day to day, not really. And then I have to remind myself, I'm like, Savannah, you're a fiance. And I'm like, oh my God. And then it hits me and then it feels different. But like in the day to day, as of right now, not entirely. I'm just going to be honest. It doesn't really feel different. First of all, I don't really think there's much to feel different about. Like Hayden and I live together. We've always planned on getting married for like a very long time since we began dating. Like it does not feel much different because this was what we were leading up to. And I don't know how it could potentially feel a lot more different since we are living together. But I mean, obviously, whenever I see the ring, like I'm in love with it. And I'm just reminded of how lucky I am and how grateful I am and how grateful I am for Hayden and just how excited I am for the future. But I definitely wouldn't say, well, not definitely. I wouldn't say that I feel like this massive difference. But I do think that has to do a lot with the fact that like we live together. I also also think it has to do with the fact that like we haven't really celebrated. Like we haven't had an engagement party. We definitely celebrated the night of, and that was like truthfully one of the best days ever, but we haven't really done any of the extra celebration with like friends or anything since we've been back because we've had this puppy. So actually the day that the puppy goes to either its next foster home if it doesn't get adopted, I reserved, or like I made a dinner reservation for Hayden and I to celebrate our engagement just together, and I'm very, very excited about that and just looking forward to that, just to really ring it in. And we'll probably do an engagement party in January or sometime in the beginning of the year, depending on our schedules. But I am just very much looking forward to like really basking in everything that this era has to offer, and I'm just really looking forward and excited for it. Okay, next question. Do you wish anything was different about the proposal? Truthfully, no, I don't. I really, really don't. The only thing that I could potentially say is I had a different dress to wear. Like I had a long white dress, but I don't know. I kind of love the short one. I'd never worn it before, and I thought it definitely fit the vibe. But I did have a long white dress that I wore the next night that was very nice. But actually, yeah, no, I don't think I would change it. I think that like actually Hayden picked the dress out of my suitcase, which I think makes it like a little bit more special. So yeah, that is what I am that's what I would say. How long did it take you to decide on what ring you truly wanted? This is a very good question. Because I'm definitely someone who's indecisive, but I decided very quickly what shape I wanted. I've always really liked a round diamond. To me, it was in between this and an elongated cushion. And truthfully, I just didn't like the way that any square diamond was looking on my hand. I didn't like the way a radiant looked on me. I didn't like the way an emerald looked on me. And I didn't like the way a cushion looked on me either. I just kept going back to the round. And trust me, like I said, I think in the last episode, and I can go into more detail about this if you guys want, but we went to like 6 or 7 or 5 or 6 probably different ring shops before we chose the one that we really, really liked. And in each one of those shops, we tried on all different shapes and sizes of the diamonds. So we tried on every single kind again, radiant, oval, round, emerald, cushion, all of them. And I landed on round every single time. I just prefer it. I don't know why. I just like it on my hand and I just think it's really pretty. And so it didn't take me too long to figure out that I did like a round cut. I actually think that that was it was like at Shane's, like the first ring shop that we went to that I figured that out. And that I realized that that's what I liked. So from the very beginning, I knew, but I do definitely recommend if you are about to embark on this process yourself, I think it's really smart to, I know it's very, some people like ring shopping with their partner, some people don't, some people are in it, some people are not, some people like to be surprised. I knew myself and I knew that I want to kind of have a little bit of a say in the ring. And I'm glad that I did. And Hayden was very much on board with that because he's like, I want to get you something that you like because you're going to be wearing it all the time, which there is truth to that. And also like this, I think I explained this last time. This is not the original ring that we had picked out. The original ring that we picked out had a plain band and we got a pave band, which just means it has like little diamonds on it. And I'm so happy he went with the pave band. So it does still have like a touch of things that he decided. It also is a cathedral setting, which we did not pick out before either. He chose that. And I just really love it because it's like little touches that he added. But as far as how long did it take me to decide on the ring that I liked, it really didn't take me that long because I knew what cut I liked pretty instantaneously. But I do want to stress that if you are going to, go ring shopping with your boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever, I recommend just going to multiple different places and trying on different shapes and sizes, just so you figure out exactly what it is that you like, because you are going to be wearing it for a long time. So it is important that you like it. Will you be doing a wedding planning series once you start that process and enjoy it first? I definitely want to. You guys can let me know in the comments and just on the Instagram, like what type of wedding content you want to see, like what you're interested in knowing about from this perspective. Because I know sometimes when people get engaged, they make it their whole personality and it can be very annoying. And I don't want to be that person, but I am here to serve you and to cater and to give you all of the content that you would like. So if you would like specific wedding content, definitely let me know. And and I will do that. But I don't want to like overflow you guys with wedding content and like engagement content when you guys are like, Savannah, like that's not why I'm here. Like, give me another what would Sav do? Like, I get that. So just let me know what kind of content it is that you do want, and I will definitely put that out. But again, I don't want you to feel like this is now just becoming like, oh, Savannah's engaged, we just have to listen to her like talk about it forever and she won't shut the fuck up. Like, I don't want to be like that. So if there is specific wedding content you want to see, definitely let me know and we will make that happen. But that is kind of like my initial thoughts on like wedding and engagement content. How long of an engagement do you want? Okay, I think I touched on this a little bit in the beginning, but Hayden is definitely the one that wants the shorter engagement. Truthfully, like it doesn't really matter to me if we get married fall of next year or spring of 2026. Again, I would prefer fall or winter only because I resonate with those months more, not necessarily because I want to like have a shorter engagement, but by that point we will have been engaged for about a year. So I think that that's like pretty much like a standard. I don't know. I don't know what standard is, but to me that sounds about right. So probably somewhere around a year, but I'm so excited. Hayden and I have talked about like, okay, do we even want to wait that long? Like we could like elope over the summer and we could do something like that. We have so much to discuss, you guys. We have so much to figure out. So when I know, you will know. Do you have a hashtag yet? Bye bye Brimer. So happy for you. First of all, thank you. We don't have a hashtag. Surprise, surprise. We're so early on in this process, but bye bye Brimer is kind of cute. But here's the thing, you guys. I truthfully don't know if I'm going to change my last name. Shocker, unpopular opinion. I don't know if I'm going to do it. I just have a really hard time letting go of things and I have a really hard time with change. But also, like, I love my last name and I just feel like I resonate with it so much. And I just feel like it's such a significant part of me and who I am that I just don't know if I want to change it. I've thought about hyphenating and doing Savannah Brimer Frederick, which I wanted to say that because when I was typing out Hayden's last name is spelled very funny. It's not spelled how it sounds, but his last name is Frederick. So it would be Savannah Brimer Frederick, or it'll be just Savannah Brimer. But I think I'm gonna hyphenate, and then when we have kids, it'll be they will have Frederick. But I think I'm gonna hyphenate, and I don't want to say goodbye to Brimer. So I don't know if it's gonna be bye bye Brimer because I don't know if I want to say goodbye to Brimer. So it'll definitely be interesting to come up with a wedding hashtag. I'm not good at that stuff at all, so I'm definitely gonna need assistance. But that is a good one. Okay, next question. I know you and Hayden had problems in the beginning. How did you get past them? Love you. Okay, yes. Hayden and I did have problems in the beginning. I've touched on this multiple times in a couple different episodes by basically just saying that, a lot of people in the beginning of their relationships, they talk about these wild honeymoon phases and how most, in the beginning of a lot of relationships, that's the best part because it's exciting, it's new, it's fresh, you're getting to know each other. Hayden and I didn't really have that. We met and I really liked him, but there were a lot of things that both of us kind of needed to work through and work out. But I will say, I think that the one thing that helped us through that was the fact that Hayden and I always chose each other at the end of the day. We knew what we wanted. We knew that we wanted to be together and we were willing to work through and grow from any obstacle that we were faced with in order to do that. And there's plenty of times where Hayden and I could have walked away from each other, but we continued to show up for each other and support each other. And it gave us the best outcome. And I'm really happy that we stuck it out because it's gotten us to a point where we are at the best place in our relationship. I feel like each year that passes, our relationship gets better and stronger. I feel like from the very beginning, we had to learn how to communicate with one another. We had to learn how to navigate through obstacles and adversity with one another. And so, because of that, it's made having to do that now pretty easy if we're ever, faced with it again. So, that's kind of been the main takeaway, but how we got through it again is just showing up for each other and choosing each other. I think that was a big thing. I do want to emphasize though that there is a line and there is a limit. Like you don't need to continue to show up for someone or choose someone when things get really bad. Like obviously I don't want to sit here and like advocate for, choosing and staying with someone who is showing, dangerous and unhealthy habits or putting you or other people at risk. That's not what I mean. That's not what we went through. We just had some shit to work through and we did. And it was because we chose each other. We showed up for each other. We supported each other. We knew what the end goal was, and we knew that that was that we wanted to be together, and we were willing to work through it to make that happen. And that's why I just have so much faith in our relationship, because we've been through the hard stuff, or a lot of the hard stuff. There's still going to be hard stuff in the future, but I'm confident in our skill and how we choose to, navigate through, again, obstacles and adversity. So that's what I would say in regards to that. Okay, next question is, do you like bridesmaids all in the same dress or free range as long as the color matches? Also, what colors? So, for what colors, could not tell you. But as far as the bridesmaids, okay, and this is where, guys, I just have so many thoughts that are going through my head right now, just in regards to everything wedding, because I don't know if I want to do the traditional, like, bridesmaids on one side, groomsmen on the other, like bridesmaids and groomsmen walking down together. Truthfully, I don't know if I want that, but I do want bridesmaids. Like, I know that. And so I've thought about the idea of making all of, not making, but asking very nicely, please and thank you, asking my bridesmaids to wear like a shade of blue and having them be my something blue, and maybe like having that be the way that they are kind of recognized and honored. But don't quote me. I might have like 12 people standing up beside me. I don't know. But here's the thing, like, I have two of my own sisters. Hayden has two sisters. So it's just kind of, adding on then my friends, like that's a lot of people. Hayden and I have talked about the idea of maybe his sister standing on his side and Jackson standing on my side. I don't know. I'm not sure. We've talked about doing just like family. So my two sisters and Jackson, or, and then like his two sisters and maybe like someone else that he wants. I don't know. We have a lot of things to discuss, clearly. I don't know why I did an engagement Q&A when I have no answers to literally anything, but a lot of thoughts are formulating in my head right now and circulating. I have a lot of things that I'm thinking about, and just a lot of ways that I'm like trying to see what I want to do, just because I don't know, like, from someone who didn't really want to get married to begin with, like now I'm kind of like open to the idea of like having a big, like not a big wedding, but a wedding. I don't really want to do things like super traditionally. And that's not because I'm like anti-tradition, but it's just because like a lot of it doesn't really resonate with me or like speak to me. I'm just kind of like, I don't need to do this. So I don't know. Hayden and I are going to talk about it. Luckily, he's like super open and just like receptive to everything that I've been telling him, and just is like kind of one of those that's like, you know, tell me when and where to show up and I'll be there, and I will, ask for his opinion along the way, and he'll give it to me and we'll make decisions together. But for the most part, he's just like, I just want to marry you, which I'm very lucky that I feel like that's kind of my experience in all of this. I know some people really want their fiance to be like super hands-on. Some people are like, no, I don't really care, honestly. And I think once I figure out the details more, then it'll all kind of make sense to me. I think once I start touring venues, which we're touring our first venue next week, which I'm very excited about. And then we have two that we're touring in the beginning of the year. So I'm really excited about that too. But yeah, there's just a lot going on in terms of all of this, but I don't really have a lot of like, really nothing is concrete right now. Not a single thing. Okay, next one. First of all, congratulations. How long are you guys planning to get engaged? Okay, to be engaged. Yeah, I kind of answered that. I don't really know. Again, somewhere between a year to a year and a half. Do you wish you would have known? Mm, no. No, I don't wish I would have known. I'm very glad that I was surprised, because here's the thing, you guys, like I went a little psycho. I was looking through his office, I was looking through his work bag, I was looking everywhere I could to try and find this thing right here, this ring. I could not find it, and that's why I was also convinced it was just like not happening. Where did I not look, you might ask? Where was it hiding? Top shelf of the closet, somewhere that I cannot reach, nor would I ever even try. Hayden is tall, he can reach it. I am not, or I am tall, but I'm not top of the shelf on the closet tall. So that was literally the one place I like, I scoured through his office, you guys. I was looking in drawers, and call me crazy, I don't care. I was looking for this ring. Looking through drawers, looking on his desk. I like took a peek in his work bag. The one place I didn't check was the closet. So that's where it was hiding the whole time. But I'm very glad that I didn't know. I'm glad it was a surprise. I feel like I knew as much as I am glad that I did. Like, I'm glad that I helped pick out the ring. I'm glad that, we've been very vocal and just verbalizing, a proposal and engagement and marriage. Like, I'm glad that I was involved as much as I was, but I'm glad that I was surprised as well. It was like literally the perfect combination, because I think, I don't know, like I like the idea of having a surprise proposal, but I'm obviously a control freak. I'm very type A, and I like things done a certain way. And I think that was one of the best parts about this, is that everything Hayden did for this engagement was done by Hayden. And had I like known that this was happening, had I known that he had the ring, I would have tried and nitpicked like anything that I could. But I think it worked out in the best way possible, because it just ended up being that he made this all happen, and it was perfect and it was beautiful and it was the best moment ever. And I'm so lucky and grateful that it turned out that way. So that is where we're at, you guys. We will have a lot more to talk about in the episodes and months to come pertaining to wedding stuff. But yeah, let me know what kind of wedding content you want to see. But with that being said, you guys, that is all for me today. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of My Thoughts Exactly. Again, if you're new here, hi, my name is Savannah. I'm your host. Make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. That way you never miss an episode. We post weekly here on the podcast every single Friday. You're not going to want to miss it. I will be back next week with a brand new one for you guys, and I will see you there. Bye, guys.